Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Chapter 3.6 Notes, Part 2. Today we are talking about applications of proportions and the distance formula. Our learning target today is to be able to solve application problems involving ratios, proportions, and distance. So, one of the ways that proportions are often used is to solve real-world problems. When we're setting up proportions, you must make sure that the units of the numerators match, okay, and the units of the denominators match, okay. That's probably the hardest part about setting up the proportions, okay, and if you're good, keep yourself organized, this will be easy. All right, let's start going through some problems. At the local playground, the ratio of, we have boys to girls. Okay, so right away, I know that that's going to be my proportion, boys to girls. Okay, it's 3 to 2. Okay, if there are 14 girls, they want to know how many boys. Okay, so we set up proportion. We know that there are 3 boys to 2, and that's going to equal 14, and those are girls. So that goes on the bottom, and now we have our x. Okay, so from here on, all we're doing is exactly what we did yesterday. Okay, 3 times 14, that's in your multiplication chart. You get 42. And now all we have to do is get the x by itself. And we get x equals 21, and that's going to be 21 boys. Okay? Don't forget the units. All right, let's move on to the next one. George's summer job is mowing lawns. It takes George 3 hours to mow, let's see, to mow what? To mow 8 houses. How long would it take him to mow 12 houses? So they're asking how long. That's time. The thing that we're talking about in this problem is we're talking about hours and we're talking about houses. The first one we know is 3 hours to 8 houses. And that's going to equal 12 houses. And so that's where the x goes. All right, let's do the cross multiplication. We get 36. And the other way, we get 8x. Now, to solve, get the x by itself. Ooh, 36 divided by 8, does that go in evenly? So off to this side, 8 goes into 3, no times, but 8 goes into 36, 4 times. And that gives us 32. Okay, we're going to add the 0. So I brought the decimal up. 8 goes into 40 5 times. So the answer is x equals 4.5 what? Remember, we're talking about hours. Okay, why don't you guys read number 3 and see if you can set everything up correctly. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so they're mixing green paint and blue paint. So you should have 4 over 3 equals 6 over x. Now, if you set it up the other way, if you set it up blue to green, and you have 3 over 4 equals x over 6, that's okay. You're still going to get the same answer as me, okay? So our next step would be to do cross multiplication, where you would get 4x equals, oh, not 16, 18. All right, to solve for x, divide both sides by 4. And once again, we're going to need to do some division here. 4 goes into 18 4 times. Drop the 0 down. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So we get x equals 4.5. They're talking about ounces of blue paint. All right, number 4. Okay, if 3 pounds of coffee cost $21.60, how much would 5 pounds of coffee cost? So they're talking about pounds of coffee compared to the cost. Okay, and that's in dollars. 3 over 21.60 equals 5, and you don't know the cost. All right, so cross multiplication, you're going to get 3x equals, ooh, that I don't know. So off to the side, let's multiply. 5 times 0, 0. 5 times 6, 30. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8, and 10. Now we're not done because there are 2 numbers behind the decimal. So that equals 108. Okay, so to get the x by itself, divide both sides by 3. Oh, don't know that either. So 108 divided by 3. 3 goes into 1. No, 3 goes into 10. 3 times. Bring the 8 down, and 3 goes into 18 6 times. So we get x equals 18, and we're talking about dollars. Okay? And it shouldn't be 18. Where did the number 18 come from, Mr. Grice? Should be 36. All right. Number 5. You guys are on your own. Let's pause the video and see how you do. All right, let's start right here. Did you guys get this far? Now, if you were to multiply this out, you would start getting some big numbers. Okay? So, what we're going to do is show you a shortcut right here where we can reduce. Now, 20 over 180. Can we reduce that? We can. And the fast way to do it is we've talked about if you have a 0 on both of those, now that changes to 2 over 18. Okay, and we can actually still reduce that to 1/9. Okay, so if you're able to reduce the fractions right away, I would do that. Otherwise, you're going to be working with some really big numbers. Okay, now cross multiplication, you're going to end up getting 1x equals, and you have to do 45 times 9. 9 times 5 is 45, carry the 4. 9 times 4 is 36, plus 4 is 40. So you get 1x equals 405. We do not need to divide by 1 right there. And we're talking calories. Okay? All right, number 6. If a recipe that makes 24 donuts requires 6 cups of flour, how much flour would you need to make 60 donuts? Okay, so we're talking about donuts and flour. So setting this up, we got 24 donuts on the top, 6 on the bottom, and that's going to equal 60 over x. Now, what we just talked about, 24 over 6, can we reduce that? Yes, that's going to change to 4 over 1 if we divide both the top and the bottom by 6. Okay, when you cross multiply, you get 4x equals 60. Divide both sides by 4. 60 divided by 4, 4 goes into 6 one time. bring the 0 down, and that goes in 5 times. So we get x equals 15, and that's cups of flour. All right, good job with the first page. Let's flip it over. Now, an important mathematical relationship involving distance, the rate or speed, and time is the formula d equals r times t, where d is the distance, r is your rate or the speed, and that is your time. So let's see how you do on the first one. If you drive on a highway at a rate of 65 miles per hour for 3 hours, how far did you drive? Okay, that tells us the rate, which is 65 miles per hour, tells us the time is 3, but it does not tell us the distance. So you're doing 65 times 3. That's not on your multiplication chart, so off to the side, let's write that down. 5, carry the 1, and you get 195. Okay, so the distance equals 195 miles. Now, let's look at the next one. It says Julie is riding her bike 9 miles per hour. And let's see, when another person goes by at 11 miles per hour, how long will it take before the distance between them is 70 miles? All right, so we're talking about two different people, okay? We have Julie and the other guy. Now, we know the distance equals rate times time, but the only thing they're giving us is the rate. Same with this. They're only giving us the speed. We don't know what the time is, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little picture. There's my bike. There's Julie, because she's got a little ponytail, and there's the other guy. He's got a baseball cap on. So she's going 9t, where this guy's going 11t. And we want to know, when is it 70 miles? Okay, so together, if we were to write down that Julie's speed plus the other guy's speed, when is that going to equal 70 miles? Okay, we can combine like terms, solve for t, divide everything by 20, and we just talked about the shortcut. Both of those have zeros, so we can cross that out. And we're going to do off to the side 7 divided by 2. 7 goes into, or 2 goes into 7 3 times. Add the decimal. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So the time it would take would be 3.5 hours. All right, let's try another one. Stephen is traveling south on a road going 55 miles per hour when Patrick passes him up going the opposite direction going 70 miles. And they want to know when they're going to be 375 miles apart. So now we're talking about cars. Everyone gets to be driving minivans. So one's going 55, the other one's going 70. We want to know when their total distance is 375. So we're going to do the exact same thing. 55t plus 70t equals 375. Okay, if you need to draw the line down the middle to see the two sides, you can do that. Add the two up, you get 125t equals 375. Okay, divide by 125, divide by 125. Now, since we're talking about really large numbers, we can do two things. You can try and reduce the fraction by picking numbers that go into both of them. Or you can do the guess and check. I'm going to say 2 times. 2 times 5 is 0, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Up, too small. Let's try another one. 3 times 5 is 5, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 375. So our answer is 3. And we're talking about time, so that's 3 hours. All right. Last one. I want you guys to do everything. We'll read it together. Maria is traveling east on a road going 60 miles per hour when James passes him up in the opposite direction going 45 miles per hour. How far until they're 525 miles apart? Okay, so let's pause the video and see how you guys do. And make sure you draw a cute picture. All right, and there we go. So we got the two speeds right here. We got the 60t and the 45t, and then the distance. So I did the same thing over here. There's the distance and the 2 times. Okay, combine your like terms. I didn't know what that was when I divided, so I checked. 4 didn't work, 5 did. T equals 5 hours. Okay, well that's it for Algebra 2, Chapter 3.6 Notes, Day 2. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself because we would love to help you out. Thanks for watching, guys.